welcome on in, everybody, to a Tuesday evening edition of the WyoNation Roundup. I am your host, Chad Smith, and I am joined tonight by Mr. Brad Reed. How you doing, Brad?
It's Tuesday. There's football on TV, so I guess I'm not doing too bad.
There is. It's Maction and what else? Some Sunbelt, maybe?
Some Conference USA. We got some Sunbelt.
Yeah.
Nothing anybody wants to watch.
No. Very much the case. But we are here halfway through the Wyoming Cowboys football season. And unfortunately, they are 1-5.
It has not gone according to plan, as the case may be.
That is very, very much the case. And so we are here to do some midseason grades. We did some preseason grades where we kind of evaluated the team based off of talent and depth. And if I remember correctly, Brad, I think we gave every unit sans, wide receivers, quarterback, and DBs a C or better, or a B or better.
There is a case that if Old Takes Exposed wanted to go back and watch our podcast from the beginning of this season, we would be definitely Old Takes Exposed.
Yes.
Because the way that we were optimistic at the beginning of the season has now turned extremely sour for, I would say, probably all of us.
Yes. So we are here to break it down. You can see the scroller below. We're going to do it by positions. We'll add in special teams and we'll add in coaching at the end. And we want this to be interactive as we go through these. Please give us your grades. You can do so in the chat. So welcome on in, watching on X as well on the YouTube channel. You can put your comments in the chat. And as we're talking about these grades, we're going to come to a consensus to what each position grade deserves. And then maybe a little bit, can they improve that grade going forward? We don't want this to take too long. We'll get through it, but it should be fun. Lots to talk about, obviously. But when it's a 1-5 football team, it's not going to be too fun.
It's going to look like some people's report cards that are out there watching and listening right now.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say this report card is going to look a lot like it could be you back in the day, right? If you were some kind of like truant student, or you were just jacking around in school, not paying attention, or maybe you had a sibling who did that, or maybe your best friend was like that. But
drinking excessively in the dorms.
Yeah. I was thinking more of like elementary school, but you're going straight to college.
Oh, yeah.
Well, kind of concerns me because you were on like the 7-year plan, right?
No, that would have been cool. But unfortunately, I did not make it to 7 years.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe fortunately, I don't know.
All right. Well, welcome on in, everybody. And again, we like to see your chats as we do this. And we'll just get right into it. And we'll just start with the elephant in the room first. That would be the quarterback position. I'm just going to go off memory here. I do believe that we gave this a C because we're like, Svoboda has talent, but we don't know how he's going to do as the starter, and we're concerned about the depth behind him. So we went with a C, and we got some chats in. Sean's in the house. We've never exceeded expectations when expectations weren't low.
People forget that.
I like it. Welcome on in, Sean. Thank you. So our preseason grade was a C, and I think if we had C quarterback play right now, we would be ecstatic.
If it was a C, we would probably be a 3-3 team.
Yes.
Probably.
More than likely, I agree. And we'll get more into that later. So quarterback play, folks, obviously not good. When you look at all the major passing numbers, and that's what I'm going to look at because it's the quarterback position. Unfortunately, Mr. Svoboda is ranked last in the Mountain West in every major passing category. And he's also the lowest passing percentage of any qualified passer in college football. So a lot of problems there. He's got more interceptions than touchdowns. His saving grace that's keeping him in a job right now is his ability to run. But the problem is we run a pro style offense. Now, if we were running a triple option, it'd be a completely different story. But we're running a pro style offense. So when you run a pro style offense and your quarterback can't complete passes, kind of a problem, Brad. What is your analysis?
I would say that not completing passes has been a problem. I don't know if the offensive scheme that we're employing here fits the skill set that Evan has.
Yes, and we could talk about that when we evaluate the coaches.
It feels very much round peg, square hole, because he should be his completion percentage should be much higher, but obviously, he's not getting off his first read very well. He's, there was something I saw the other day where, it's like, why are we taking long shots when we don't need long shots? Or, it's just poor decision making, I think. And when you have 2 pick sixes on the season and you have 3 touchdown passes to your own team, that is a problem. So there is a significant amount that can be cleaned up there from the perspective of probably the coaching staff and trying to shift this offense a little bit to tailor more to the skill set of Evan Svoboda. But also you need better decision making on the field, and it's a joint venture here, and they need to figure that out. And at this point, we're 1-4, 1-5 at this point in the season. I mean, if they haven't put any tools in place to try to fix this problem, there's a good chance it's not going to be fixed until February or March at this point.
You can argue that it may not even be fixed unless there's some big strides in all kinds of things, right?
Or a mutiny.
Yeah, well, a mutiny. There we go. Calling for a mutiny. Brad is a pirate, apparently.
I mean, that's one way to solve a problem.
Yes. So, no, you made a lot of great points. And that's what I was going to say is, folks, the problems we're having with his accuracy and his decision-making, those are things that you don't fix in games, right? Those are things that get fixed on the practice field. So if they didn't fix it during all the spring ball and all of summer and all of fall ball, it's not getting fixed. And it may not get fixed. They keep saying he's young and inexperienced. Well, he's a junior, halfway through his junior season. And if you can't complete passes, I don't have any faith that this coaching staff in the offseason is going to get him to be even just average, because it's just too big of a hill to climb. You don't see these, right? Name me one quarterback who was wildly inaccurate who became accurate.
Josh Allen.
Well, I know, but he got proper coaching in the NFL. So, but he wasn't. Even Josh Allen in his worst was at like 58%, and he was getting cooked. 55, 54%. I mean, good Lord. I mean, so Josh Allen, not as inaccurate as one would think.
I think
Rashawn, good to see you.
I kind of wonder too if it's like one of those things where, an off-season visit to like a Jordan Palmer, Trent Dilfer, that kind of thing.
Sure he was training with somebody like that this last summer. I could swear. We'll have to look it up.
That seemed to ring a bell, but that kind of intervention to salvage a quarterback career at UW, might be in order as well.
So, we'll get into it when we talk about the coaches here. We'll give a grade here. But no, I'm pretty sure that he did go to one of those camps in the summer. We'll have to research that some more. But, not good. Inaccuracies, as you said, decision-making, just overall, like pocket awareness. Yes, Clint. Yes. The C stands for coaching, not center.
Although it could be argued the center has played a role in some of the
and we'll get to that.
had this year. So
yep. So all right. So this will go forever if we take this long. So let's all come to a consensus here on quarterback play. Now, my initial notes have like D minus F. Maybe you give a D minus just because he could run a little, and I think right now he is like the second leading rusher on the team. I think he has the most rushing attempts as well, which is scary. So I don't know. D minus. What do you think?
I was also going to say D minus for the simple fact that he is probably the reason that we beat Air Force.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
okay.
He did provide us a win this year, which is appreciated.
Okay.
So I think I would be comfortable in the D minus range.
Yeah, let's go D minus. Yeah, I wouldn't go anything other than, oh, this is going to get confusing here. We'll do this. And then I know updated D minus. All right. Let's move on to the running back position. And again, not too pretty. I'll tell you right now, Wyoming ranks 109th in the nation right now in rushing. Obviously, the offensive line plays a part of that. But right now, Wyoming is on pace to have their lowest rushing season since 2017. We're only on pace to have about 1,400 rushing yards when pretty much every year under Bowl, we've been well over 2,000 rushing yards as a team. I think some roster mismanagement happened early on in the season. They kept wanting to use DJ Jones, who's now away from the team, as like an inside running back. And he kept wanting to bounce it outside, and he kept getting knocked down for 1 or 2 yard gains. And then they finally went to Sam Scott, who's been great in these past couple games. And I think Sam Scott's been like a solid B, but the rest of the production has been a D. And obviously, you got to take in consideration like Whaley, one of the best backs in the country, hasn't played all year because of a knee injury. McNeely ran the ball in 2 plays and got injured on both of them somehow. Poor kid.
Out for the season.
Yeah. So
Jones away from the team. So, I mean, for having a 4th-string running back who figures to make significant strides in the overall rushing ability of the team.
Yeah.
I think that'll help. And who was it? I think it was Anthony Dion said he got a quick chat with Whaley yesterday, and Harrison was targeting coming back weeks 9 through 13 to preserve his red shirt and also, still contribute to the team.
Yes.
So I would say, all things considered, I think a B would be a fine grade.
A B? Okay. I have a C minus.
I think all things considered, like, we're on, we're on track to finish with our lowest stat, our lowest total since 2017.
Yep.
Which I was surprised that didn't date back to the Dave Christensen era. But I think it'll come around, and I think by the end of the season we'll view the rushing attack in a much better light.
Well, they have no choice, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm willing to negotiate to a B minus.
A B minus?
Maybe a C plus.
Well, I mean, they're ranked 109th in the nation, Brad.
I know, but
that's terrible.
It's looking better now than it did 3 weeks ago.
I know, but that's only 2 out of 6 games. That's a third of the time they've looked competent running the ball.
So I guess we can land on a C, because that would be just
I don't know. Let's see. Let's give it to chat. Chat. You're there. I see you guys. What do you think? Do you vote for me as I'd be okay with a C plus, but do you want to, should we give in to Brad and give him the B? You want to give a B? I'm more of a C really, but I'd be okay with a C plus. Sure. At this point in time, who really cares? But what do you guys think? Clint, Rashawn, Luke.
C plus for sure.
Here we go.
Yeah.
C minus. Oh,
Luke's in with a C minus.
There's a C minus. All right. Oh, there's another C minus C. Okay. C plus. All right. Can we go C plus? Is that fair, Brad?
We'll go C plus.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Let's get that updated here.
Some good quick voting there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, see, this is kind of fun. C plus. All right. Updated. Boom. All right. Next up, tight end. Very interesting position, obviously. We have John Michael Gillenborg, who was injured for the first 2 games of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And he has come back now. And I'm just, hold on here while I get back to the stats. He is our leading receiver with 13 receptions and 174 yards in just 4 games. And then you got some other guys who've caught the ball, Miles, Nanke, Schoenfeld, and then is it Herb, who they're bringing in as a blocking back, or blocking tight end, who's just like destroying people in the running game. Dude can block. So I have a problem with Gillenborg's use. I guess he is at getting 4 catches a game, roughly, which is good. But it seems to be like all deep stuff, right? They just want to seam route the guy 10 times a game, where I would rather have him just be going over the middle, catching the ball 5-6 yards, and then getting the rest with his feet. And then giving him like 7 or 8 of those a game with how bad we are. And
that's the one position that can bail out a quarterback too. If he's, getting hurried in the pocket, or, just needs a quick, sure-handed receiver to get the ball to, I think we need to utilize him, in that kind of
shorter
role.
passes. Yeah.
Yep.
So my initial grade for the tight ends is just a C. They've been okay. Nothing great. I think as I said, Herb, the blocking has been outstanding. The other guys block pretty well as well on the outside. I'd like to see more playmaking from the tight end, but that might be more underneath routes they'll have to use. So I think we're good on a C.
I think C is a fair grade,
with room for improvement as Gillenborg, A, gets healthier, and B, hopefully the coaches. Yeah, Luke says the new OC is the reason why the tight end is not existent. Could be a lot to that.
There's a lot to unpack with this new OC.
Could be a lot to that. And we'll get to him in the coaching. So let's update this quickly. We are going to see with the tight ends. They've been okay, haven't been terrible, haven't been great. All right. Now that leads us to the wide receiver position, which is very, very hard to evaluate, in my opinion, because they are dependent on the quarterback. You see, scheme-wise, I think we've had more open wide receivers than we've had in years. By amount, because our biggest problem under Bowl was getting guys open, but we got guys running free. Problem is, Sabota makes one read, doesn't look to the other side of the field, where there's often just guys just standing there wide open.
He did hit that wide open guy on the flea flicker though. So
he did, yeah. So I don't know how to grade these wide receivers. They haven't been productive per se, and they've dropped a fair amount of balls. Like Clint is just saying here, drops are an issue, but the guys throwing and missing passes that land near Elk Mountain. I like it. I like references to Wyoming geography. I had a buddy who grew up in Elk Mountain, so when I was going to school in Laramie, we'd go there from time to time and get a home-cooked meal. But Elk Mountain's a pretty cool place.
Way up there.
Yeah.
Isn't its elevation higher than Laramie's?
I'm pretty sure. You could look that up if you want to while we do that. But wide receiver-wise, again, how's this for who do you think is our leading receiver so far this year, everybody?
Didn't you? You said it was Gillenborg, right?
Well, I mean, as a wide receiver. Who is the wide receiver with the most catches?
Jesus. Couldn't even tell you.
Jesus. If Jesus was a wide receiver for us, I think we'd be doing pretty good.
We don't know that.
Yeah, I think Jesus would be a dang good wide receiver. Just my opinion.
I'm just gonna not.
Exactly. Thank you, Clint. King, yes. And I thought, actually, at first I thought that was Christ is King, but no, it is King, the wide receiver. He's got 9 catches is all in 6 games for 133 yards, which is not good. So that's on pace for 18 receptions, which is just horrific. When is the last time Wyoming had a wide receiver who had 50 or more catches? Any idea?
Ooh, is it gonna be Gentry?
Close.
His buddy, the tall guy.
No.
Oh.
How about think about a basketball player?
Oh, was it Conway?
Austin Conway in 2017 as our last wide receiver to have more than 50 catches in a year. We've gone 7 years now without a wide receiver getting 50 or more catches.
That's really surprising. I always thought that Austin Conway was very underutilized in the playbook.
Because Nayor came close, obviously. His sophomore year, he had 44 catches, which I still find crazy. 44 catches for 878 yards and 12 touchdowns. My goodness.
It's very surprising.
Yeah, so, again, Wyoming's got wide receiver problems, which links back to quarterback play. When you don't have accurate wide receiver or accurate passers, you can't get guys open. So it's kind of a hard thing. Yeah, Sargent's got 6 catches for 119 yards. So we got 2 wide receivers over 100 yards, which is not going to cut it.
Yeah, and
but it's hard it's not their fault in some cases, right? Because in some cases they're open. Yep, Clint's got a nice coach, and we'll get to that. We will get the ball to our handsmaker 9 and let them make plays. That is a direct quote.
Yep.
Hey! And that's what I'm saying, right? You got Tyler King. I don't think he had a catch. He had like 2 catches in this last game. Let me look at his game log really quick. He had 2 catches. They didn't get him a ball on a jet sweep or anything. Fastest guy in the field. It's wild. Absolutely wild.
Now we're down a receiver with Devin Body.
Devin Body Jr. Off the team.
Retired from the University of Wyoming.
Yes.
Whatever that
means. So I don't even know. Like, I have right now the wide receivers at D+, but I almost like the quarterback play has been so bad. I don't know, but like incomplete almost sounds fair, but I don't know. So what do you think? You get sole discretion on this one, Brad.
What is it they used to give you on your report card? Like, what was it, like satisfactory? Maybe like satisfactory minus.
An S minus?
I don't know if you ever had that on your report cards in elementary school, but you had like S and S plus and S minus.
Yeah.
So maybe we just give it like an S minus.
An S minus? Okay. We can do that.
Satisfactory, but not that satisfactory.
Yeah. Like you're doing okay, but we understand that.
We can't actually give you a letter grade because we don't have enough information to make an intelligent decision.
Exactly.
Not that there were going to be a lot of intelligent decisions made on this podcast tonight, but
no. There we go. S minus. I like it. And yeah, again, you got playmakers out there. You got King. You got Durr, another guy.
Mm-hmm.
They should be getting the ball.
A lot of hype around Durr.
Sargent has developed nicely. It's like, okay, that's good to see him. What about Pellissier, a senior?
Mm-hmm.
He caught how many balls last year? I'm going to look this up. He caught, where is he? Did I go back too far? He caught 7 balls last year. Thought he had more than that. He's got 5 this year.
He's almost caught up to his season total from last year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is.
So, all right. Okay, next up is offensive line, and I actually to help us out, got the opinion of our offensive line expert, as you know. One guess on who that is?
I don't know who our offensive line expert is.
Shay.
Oh.
Shay's always watching the O-line.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, I don't watch the O-line enough. I should. I understand that. But I'm too busy watching the wide receivers and the footwork of the quarterback. It's what I like to watch. But we'll see here. Shay. Well, I guess I got his notes. I wrote them down. I forgot. I did a quick summary. Shay said early in the season it'd have been a D because they were pretty terrible. But the last couple of weeks, he bumps it up to a B because some of these younger guys have gotten to play. He says they're playing with a little more physicality. They're playing hungrier. They're hitting people. They're being physical. And he says with the injuries to playing a factor, he's going to combine the D and the B to a C+, which I think they haven't been bad. They're like obviously against like Arizona State was a complete disaster. And BYU was pretty bad as well.
Well, and this was still a problem as of 2 weeks ago, but the snaps from center were creating a lot of problems.
Correct. And you had that issue as well.
Did that pop up at all against?
No, I know he did. He mentioned it.
San Diego State,
I don't mind downgrading it to a C because the snaps have just jacked all kinds of things up.
Yeah, I mean that's also part of some of the problems that Svoboda's had is a bad snap throws off the entire play where
Correct.
Your timing gets screwed up. You're a block that was only supposed to be there for a second is now gone because you were trying to pick the ball up off your ankles.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're running for your life and you're taking a sack or you're throwing the ball out of bounds or you're just whatever have you. So I would be willing to downgrade that just based off. We got to get the snapping problem fixed, or it's
okay. We can go to the C.
Going to be a long season. Well, we're probably already there.
We'll go with the C. I'm fine with that. And that may be too nice as well. But kind of like the running back position, they've turned the corner in the past couple games, I thought. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of graded on a little bit of a curve here.
Yeah, maybe by the time we do this exercise again, in December, we'll have a different opinion on the O-line and bump its grade up or something.
Perhaps. Okay, well, Luke's got some numbers. Everybody read that. I'm not going to read that. But basically, we have as many yards as San Jose State's quarterback has thrown for.
That was one of my points for when we get to the coaching staff.
Not good.
Was there some banger numbers in there that are really going to make people mad?
Yeah, and then he talks about offensive line was currently allowing 6 sacks and 8 tackles for loss. Most of the sacks I don't put on the offensive line. It's Evan Svoboda. As for someone who is as athletic and strong as he is, there was one time where he wasn't even touched and he just fell down, and that was a sack. That's not on the offensive line. Several times he just doesn't know where to go. He has no pocket awareness, no footwork. So, again, sure, some of the sacks are on the offensive line. Like early in the season they were, where they're just missing blocks and guys were running free. But, like, against San Diego State, I don't think the offensive line was a problem in terms of those sacks. But they are a problem. But I think it's unfair to put them on the O-line. What do you think about, Brad? What did you see with your eyes?
Well, I didn't see the San Diego State game, so I cannot be any help there.
Okay.
And some dummy forgot to hit the record button on his DVR before he left home, so.
Oh, that's a problem.
It was me. I'm that dummy.
Okay. Well, Luke wants to give an F to the offensive line, but no, we're not going to do that. Everybody deserves Fs, really. But that wouldn't be a very fun show, would it? If we were just like F, 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 F.
We say a lot of Fs while we're watching the game, but
very, very true. All right, we'll move on to the defense now. And let me just bring up something that I had that I didn't even know. It's pretty crazy. Okay, defensive line. Going into the season, we were really high on them. I think we gave them an A, right? Because just they had all these guys returning. They've had their fair bit of injuries. I think they also got off to a slow start. But I think these past couple weeks, they've really picked it up, and they've developed some young players, including Dante Drake, who's come out of nowhere, right? Nobody even heard of the guy. And now he's in there probably getting the most snaps behind Burton Noli. And then you got the two Williams, J.D. Williams and J.Y. Williams, getting a lot of good experience there. And then Sebastian Harsh is back. Not Sebastian Harsh, I meant Harris. But Sebastian Harsh, man, has been getting some work done. He is third on the team in tackles. He's averaging 5 tackles a game as a defensive end, which is crazy.
Yeah, and he leads the team in tackles for loss, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Harsh has been playing great.
And tied for the top in sacks. So he's his own little wrecking ball out there.
Yeah. So I don't think the defensive line has been a huge problem.
Not an A, though.
No, I mean, I have them as a B right now.
I think a B is fair.
Because I don't think they're the source of our problems. I'd like to see more sacks, more pressure would be nice. But I think that's just the way the defense is designed. I don't think it's really designed to get a whole lot of pressure. So, yeah, if you're happy with a B,
I think I'm happy with a B.
We'll go with a B for the defensive line, knowing that, right, they can do a lot better. I will say, like, Burton Oli's having a down year. He's on pace to only have half the amount of tackles that he did last season, which is a problem. Now, it could be, right, he could be getting double-teamed every damn play, which is probably the case. You're not going to be too, but that's freeing up other guys, probably Harsh, right, to go get some extra tackles. So, all right, updated. We'll give the defensive line a B. All right. I'm going to let you go first. I haven't let you go first on any of these, I don't think. Linebackers. You go first.
Well, I think Shea is having a great season at linebacker. He's making a lot of tackles. So,
which Shea?
Sianua.
Okay. First name Shea. We got first name Shea, last name Shea.
Yeah, his last name's just too hard to pronounce like quickly on a podcast because I will screw it up and say it differently every single time. So, I don't need that stress in my life. So we'll just call him the good Shea. You and I have to own the bad Shea. So
okay.
But yeah, I think he's having a really good season. So
yeah.
Yeah, I like where he's at. Connor Shea also having a great season. So, well, I mean, he's
doing okay.
I'm not going to say having a great season. Well, he does have an interception. That's kind of cool.
He's doing okay. Yeah, I was actually expecting more out of him.
Yeah, but our linebackers are 1 and 2 in the team in tackles. So,
yep,
that's probably to be expected in this defense. So, I don't know. Like, thinking probably kind of like B minus ish, somewhere in there.
Okay, I have a C, and I'll give you my reasoning.
Okay.
Suinoa is on pace to match last year's leading tackler and Gibbs at about 100 tackles, which is good. But the drop down is last year Suinoa had 93 tackles, but right now Connor Shea is only on pace to have about 60. So the production is down for whatever reason. Now it could be, right, the defensive line could be making more tackles. They could be blowing a lot of stuff, and the DBs are having to make more tackles. I'd have to look at the breakdown of percentages. I think they've been okay, not great. So I don't know. Do you want to do C+, split the middle?
Yeah, that seems fine.
I don't think they're a problem, right? I don't think the linebackers are the reason we're losing games.
No.
But they're also not playing at like an all conference level. Either of them. So C+ it is.
Probably a position group that will come back at the end of the season and probably give them a better grade.
All right. And I see, I'm sorry, I'm not. We got some chats. Let's see what people are saying about the linebackers. So I got a B+ here. Okay. We've got B+. Clint's got a C. So I think C+ is fair. Rashawn has a B, I think. All right. Thank you. I like your guys' feedback. Yes. As a whole, it is. Clint, to judge the defense as a group.
Yeah, kind of the point Luke was making too is the defense has been on the field a lot.
They're getting gassed. Yep, because we're not running the ball. As I said, we're about to have our worst rushing season in 7 years. So it is a problem. All right, defensive backs. This was a position group that we were the most concerned about on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has been bearing out, unfortunately, for us. Let me see here. If I go to interceptions, we only have 2 on the year. One from Rook Brown and then one from a linebacker. So only 1 interception by a defensive back who actually plays that nickel role, which is a hybrid. It's a hybrid linebacker, basically. So very interesting there. But I mean, Tyrekus Davis has been pretty disappointing this year, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guys around him, Keanu Parks has gotten burnt quite a bit and it was even benched for a while. I didn't really pay attention too much. I guess in the San Diego State game, it was Singleton, right? They were picking on the safeties on those deep balls.
Was Parks benched against, was it North Texas? Is that where he got benched, or was it earlier
or
in the
BYU,
season?
I think, too.
Oh, yeah, it was BYU.
Yeah. And then I know Merritt's been playing in there, and you don't really hear anything about him, which is good, right? So it means that he's not getting torched.
Yeah.
But I think our 2 starting corners, and we were concerned about the experience and the depth, I think kind of a problem.
Well, and, we've had Eckler out with broken thumbs for...
Yeah, and that doesn't help having
now.
Eckler and White out. I understand that.
And I think Eckler's back on the depth chart this week, isn't he?
I think he's going to try to play.
Yeah, they've got him listed on the depth chart right now, starting at free safety. So
yeah, but he's got like 2 clubs, I think. So I don't know how he's going to play with 2 clubs.
I'd say interceptions are probably off the table, and how he uses clubs as chopsticks. But tackling should be more of an adventure for him, I would assume.
Yeah. So yeah, for DBs, I have a C. I think that might be being nice, but they're kind of what I expected. Except for I was thinking Davis would improve on last season, but I don't think he has. So
I think Rook Brown's having a decent season, so I think a C is probably a fair grade.
And considering the injuries too, right?
Yeah.
We'll get more into that as we talk about what Salvel has said this week about injuries and all that. All right, so that is the grades there. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at these grades, right? And if you saw these grades, would you think this was a team that was 1-5?
Well, based on your quarterback play, I think that's probably the strongest indicator of all of it. So,
yep, it does. And so, and I just want to let's reiterate this. I said this on the post game. I know people in Wyoming, like, we're nice people, but just because we're criticizing a player, it's like nothing personal. And I have no ill will towards Svoboda. It's the coaches who have put him in the position to fail. So I'll throw that out there because I know some people get some people are pretty upset with us, picking on people.
Not at you.
But I said, hey, nothing personal against him. It's the coaches who are putting him in that position. All right, special teams. Very interesting here. The new punter has done quite well. He ranks 44th in the nation in punting yardage.
He's at what, like 42 yards a punt, something like that?
Yeah, he's
40,
been solid.
42.
A godsend after what we saw in spring ball, right? Where the good Lord, where you didn't even know where the punt was going to end up. It was the punting situation was so bad. So he stepped in, solidified that. He's a middle of the pack punter, which is all you need. You shouldn't have a problem recruiting punters to come punt in Laramie. Should be the easiest position in the world to get. But for some reason, we struggle at times.
It's nice to have a competent punter because we've sure needed him this year.
It's too bad he's a senior, so they're going to have to go back into the portal next year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And then also, unfortunately, Red Shoeman, after having 2 great seasons, where he was kicking about 85% of his kicks, he's now at 66% in his last 2 seasons here. So Red Shoeman, I don't know. Obviously, I'm his number 1 fan, but he's missing makeable kicks. I don't know what's going on there. And then obviously King had a kick return for a touchdown. He's been very good as a threat in the kick return game, but you see now they do whatever they can to kick away from him. So, which is good and bad.
Probably bad for us. Probably good for others.
So special teams I'd put as a C. All things considered.
You will notice, though, that we probably have 5 more punt returns this year than we had all of last year.
That's true, because we're not fair catching everything.
And this year we have 5 punt returns.
Yeah.
So that seems like an improvement.
Was it really that bad? Hold on. I have us with 5. We had 9 last year.
We had 9 total. Okay, so we're almost halfway there.
We're going to beat that.
Yeah, maybe.
Last year we averaged 3.6 yards a punt return, and this year we're at 2.2.
Yeah,
which is not good either. But they just put King back there, right? Like the last 4 games.
But he hasn't really gotten a chance to get a hold of one.
No, because they're kicking it away from him. It was after that kick return.
Too much film on him now.
Yep. All right.
You forgot to update the grade on the defense.
Oh, thank you. Special teams, yes, sir. And the DBs, huh? Did I not update either of those? Okay. Let's fix that problem right now. And then we have just 1 left. Let's see here.
Will it be the worst grade? Time will tell.
Yeah, it is going to be. I can tell you right now. All right.
For anybody that's wondering.
Yes, let's just talk about what's going on here. Let's get it's doing weird things to me. That's very weird. What is that? Okay, I see what it's doing. It's very confusing the way that's not how I typed it, but the way it's formatting it's a little weird, but that's fine. We'll deal with it.
You're probably at your character limit for the scrolling banner.
You know what? I think you're right. Here, so let's do this. We'll get rid of the midseason part. And that'll give us more room. You're right. That's some good thinking there. That's why you work in IT.
That's true. They pay me a lot of money to think of dumb things like that.
Here we go. Nope. Still didn't really help. That's okay.
Oh, no.
We're good.
Excellent podcasting here, folks.
Here, let me type in. We'll just type this out fully so it's not so weird looking coaching. We'll just type it out. There we go. All right, let's talk about the coaching. We'll just focus on mainly the head coach and the 2 coordinators because they make the big bucks. I'll let you go first.
Is there a grade below F?
Is there a grade below F?
You watch Jay Savel's press conferences, and they're just so maddening to listen to because he says things like he knows what's wrong, but he does not appear to be addressing any of those things. And the one thing he said at his press conference yesterday was, I think one of the first questions out of the gate, and I'm not sure who asked the question, but one of the first questions out of the gate was about the quarterback and, what's being done there. And Jay came out kind of probably a little bit defensive about it and said, when he got on the topic of Caden Anderson, he was like, Caden's making a lot of really good progress with his accuracy and, getting the ball out quickly and whatever. It's like, are you watching the tape? Because that seems to be one of your biggest problems right now.
Yes.
And if you have a guy who is improving at those things, maybe we see what he can do, because maybe it might be better and maybe your team might be better. But at the same time, I also get the impression that Jay is coaching like he will not and cannot be fired. And I don't know if it's healthy for a coach to. I don't know if it's healthy for a coach that is having this kind of play out of his team right now to feel that comfortable. Like, if we were in a legitimate program that valued winning, then I think that the hot seat would have started about week 2 and gotten hotter since then. And I know that we are dealing with a guy that is in his first head coaching stint after spending, the better part of 25 years or something like that as an assistant coach. It's like, you had to have picked something up along the way. I mean, you've coached under some pretty good head coaches in your day.
Yeah.
Something there had to have stuck, and it appears that was just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Stubbornness.
Yeah. And that's a big problem with coaching too. And, I think that might be a little bit of a problem with Jay Johnson right now, unless he's getting direct orders from Savell. Like, this is how it's going to be. We're not changing. But if that's not the case, then Jay Johnson is extremely stubborn right now in trying to tailor this offense a little bit better to Evan Svoboda's ability.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think that it just seems that Savell just does not feel like he is on the hot seat right now.
No, and he isn't.
That's a problem because...
Yeah, because just a couple of weeks ago when Tom Berman was addressing conference realignment, one of the first things he said was, Jay Savell is doing excellent things and we have a bright future.
Yeah, and,
and it's like, what?
That's the complete opposite of when your boss says, I have complete faith in our coach, which usually means they're about to be fired. So he hasn't got to that point.
No. But as you know, as long as Berman's around, he is safe. So that is the crux of the problem. Is there is no other school in the country where Tom Berman would still be employed with as many bad hires as he's made. That's just facts.
And he's not really one to pull the trigger before the fan base is completely disengaged with the program in question. You look at the number of men's basketball hires that we've had, and the fan base disengagement with those. And at some point, the donors are going to start making that same disengagement. And I don't know if that's ever happened or not, but it sure seems like that if the donors start becoming disengaged, like many of the casual fans that, are like us or like whoever, we're just, people that really like our team, that I don't know if Berman's ever going to feel any, hot seat himself. Like, it just doesn't seem like he's ever had that hot seat. It's like, okay, you keep making these hires and they keep not working out.
Yeah. And that's up to Wyoming leadership.
Yeah.
And
maybe they feel like they
academic leadership. I know at one point he was close, and then I think that guy he either left or got fired, that president. That was the closest we came. And then he left.
Mm-hmm.
because I think he was going to pull the trigger, but then he took another job.
Mm.
So let's get back to the coaching, though, because there's so much to talk about here. And I understand that's his first job, but things that I don't like, and there's just too many of them to talk about. But like you said, second half against Air Force, they found a formula where Swoboda looked really good. And then the very next week, they used 0 of those concepts after a bye. They did the exact opposite. They started chucking the ball around. Now, I don't know if any of you guys caught this, and you didn't, Brad, because you weren't watching, but on TV, they mentioned 2 or 3 times. At one point, Swoboda was like 11 for 31 passing the ball, and the guys on TV said this like 3 times. They kept saying, well, this was Wyoming's game plan, was to throw deep because they thought they liked the matchups against their corners. And I go, well, you know what? At some point, you got to realize that your game plan's not working and you have to go win the damn game.
Yeah.
And that means running the ball. That doesn't mean, oh, we like this matchup, let's throw 15 deep balls. It doesn't matter how strong his arm is, how big he is, if he's not accurate with any of them. Now, granted, there were a couple drops. But trust me, there was more overthrows and out routes thrown straight to the other team than there were drops.
I was really enjoying watching our group text with Shay and Brian. You guys were counting up the number of incompletions. And
yeah.
It was just,
I mean, I've never even heard of a quarterback going 11 to 31.
Tim Tebow probably did.
It's coaching malpractice. At some point, you got to be like, okay, this guy doesn't have it today. We need to run the ball. And they had the lead, and they were still chucking the ball down the field like that.
Yep. That would have been the exact opposite of what Craig Bull would have done in that situation, which is grind the clock and, just kind of beat their will to live. And, with San Diego State and their known hatred of Laramie, it would have been extremely satisfying to pull off an old-fashioned Craig Bull fourth quarter drive and just stuff it down their throat. But instead, we and this isn't me playing the opportunity to win the football game.
Yeah, and this isn't me being Monday morning quarterback. You can go to my feed where I was like, in all caps, run the ball. There's no need to throw. The guy can't hit the broadside of a barn today, and you keep taking all these deep shots. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's just that old, it's just being stubborn to the point of just spite.
Yeah. So I don't know where the blame lies. Like Luke just said, hey, the OC is trash. I don't think so. I think he's called some really good games. We just haven't been executing. But at the same time, if we can't execute the scheme, well, then you need to adjust. And he did, to his credit, against Air Force. And I thought, okay, hey, we found something we can work with. And then they don't run any of that against San Diego State. None of it was there. It's just mind-boggling to me. But I'm going to hold Savell accountable because he's the head coach, right? Same thing. I was Brent Vigen's #1 critic, and I kept saying, what the hell is this guy doing? But what did we find out when Vigen left? Nothing changed because Vigen ran the offense that Craig Bull wanted him to run. And guess what? Jay Johnson is running the offense that Jay Savell wants him to run. That's the way you have to view it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, halftime adjustments, that should be a big part of your game, figuring out what works and then, making a plan for the next 30 minutes. And I don't think that happens very much.
And so, and Savell says this a lot. They ask him like, hey, what adjustments can you make? And you know what he says? Play better. That's his mindset. If there's no adjustments, they got to play better. Again, that's not good coaching. There's a lot of things I could talk about. The other thing,
that's the pump up speech I give myself on the golf course. Just play better. Golf is way easier when you play better.
Yes, I know. Yeah, just play better.
Just play better.
Now, another thing I don't like is his body language on the sideline at times is pretty crazy, sitting there with his crossed arms.
I think that was a big problem earlier in the season. And
yeah, he's stopped that.
Somebody must have made him aware of how shitty it looked because I think that has improved. Like the Air Force game, it was noticeably improved compared to like the ASU game.
Yeah. But something that he said to this, I think it was Sunday, because I didn't listen to the Monday press conference, but Sunday I was able to. He said this, right? So they're talking about injuries, right? And they said, hey, how come you can't coach these guys up, right, to play better in these spots? And you know what he said? I've never heard a coach say this, right? With Craig Bowl, it wouldn't matter. We could be down to our 9th string, whatever, and he'd be next man up, right? But Savell actually said, there's a reason some players are backups, and I'm being forced to play them, so you can't blame me, is basically what he said. But he said, that was a direct quote, there's a reason some guys are backups, which is true. But just think, if you're one of those players who's a backup who's out there playing, and you hear your coach say that, is that going to inspire you with confidence? No, it's not. So, but to get back to your point, I think if we had just average coaching, we are a 3-3 football team right now, and everything looks so much different. But we're not. We're not being coached well at all. The loss to Idaho and the loss against San Diego State is 100% on the coaches. Let's be very clear.
Losses.
And then the other thing I wanted to talk about is how we have different sliding bars for players, right? So we lost the Idaho game because we couldn't run the ball. Even though the most accomplished running back we had was Sam Scott, barely played that game. He's held to a different standard than Swoboda. Swoboda's out there making a mess of 9 out of 10 things, but he gets to keep playing. But Sam Scott had to earn his way in, even though he was our most accomplished running back. Makes no sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Makes no sense. You got to treat everybody the same. But I understand, yes, he did mention this, that, hey, you can't be yanking quarterbacks. I understand that, because once you yank them, they could be gone. But here's also the problem. Okay, so we yank the quarterback who's the worst passer in FBS.
And the Mountain West. Well, yeah, Mountain West.
He's the worst in FBS. He's got out of all the passers who have thrown enough passes, he's got the lowest completion percentage. You're afraid that the backup's going to be worse than that?
He is.
What? It's like, what? You're afraid? It's worth trying, right? You're happy, so you're accepting the worst passing quarterback in FBS. You don't want to make that guy mad because he might transfer. What?
And that's that when he said that was basically where I was just like, all right, well, he feels no pressure feels no pressure that he will not be on, that he'll be unemployed this winter. Like, so that told me right there that, like, all right, well, he's going to be here next year regardless of what happens, because he doesn't give 100%. A shit.
Unless Berman gets fired.
Which is not going to happen. So
it could. I suppose it's possible, but it's highly likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Clint. You're drinking bourbon. That's a good man.
Smart.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't understand in any room. Like, okay, so you're afraid that the backup you put in might do worse. You know how bad he'd have to be worse than 5 interceptions and 3 touchdowns, or a 40% passing completion percentage, 2 pick sixes.
Yeah. And
oh my goodness.
And so what is it? Caden Anderson for the season right now is 9 of 12 for 79 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. He has a touchdown. So he has a third of the touchdowns. And how many less passes?
A lot.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know. So we talked about the head coach problems there. Jay Johnson, I understand some people I don't think he's done a terrible job. I kind of like what he's done, but he does need to run the ball more. But I don't know. Again, I am now of the opinion that the coordinators run the system that the head coach tells them to run. And it's up to the head coach to say, you need to do this. And the coordinator will adjust. And I learned my lesson, because I thought Vegan was the problem. Vegan was not the problem. God, I am actually still very surprised that the first call when Bull retired wasn't to Vegan.
Yeah.
At least that's someone who he got a couple years of experience as a head coach.
I don't know. Vegan's got a pretty good gig up in Bozeman.
I know, but he's not getting. They would be able to what? Triple, quadruple his salary to come back to
probably.
Wyoming. How much is Montana State making as a football coach?
Probably with incentives. They're
250?
probably with incentives. They're probably around like 350 or so.
Yeah, so he'd be able to triple his salary.
I imagine Vegan got some escalators when he played in the championship a couple of years ago. But boy, you should have seen what Vegan's boys did to Idaho.
Oh, Bruiser's back. Yes, and exactly. The same Jay Savell who said Idaho is the best defense we'll face this season. Montana State put how many points up on that defense?
Oh, Jesus, like 40-something.
Yeah.
Like that.
And we scored, what, 17?
Yes.
Good to see you, Bruiser. I know you missed the post game, I think, right? Yeah, I don't know why. There's no reason to be concerned about running off an ineffective player if he gets benched, because we all, right? If I went to my job and I was only 40% effective in what I did, I would not be doing my job anymore. I'd be gone.
I don't know, man.
There we go. Luke's on the spot. He's making $214.
Yeah, if it's like Bobby Hauck's contract, there's probably some stuff in there where you get like
another 100
this amount of money for quarterback club stuff, and you get this amount of money for blah blah blah. So
we'd be able to triple his salary. He would have came.
Base salary for sure.
He would have came.
Anyway. Yeah, because didn't Savell start at like the bottom of this? Like he's like a $700,000 or $800,000 salary, something like that.
He's making about 1.1 with incentives that are not even incentives. Basically, he's already got those incentives, so I don't know why they call them incentives.
Yeah, plus $214,000 for a base salary in Bozeman right now probably rents him like a studio apartment or something.
Yes, I agree, Luke. With any coach with average ability, we'd be 3-3.
I think if we were just average, we'd be 3-3.
So, and then we could talk about the defensive as well. Your thoughts on one Aaron Bowl as defensive coordinator?
Yeah, I mean, given the grades that we gave the defense in general, I would say that we're probably improving, from week to week with Aaron Bowl. Because it sure started like a shitstorm with having ASU hang on however many points they hung on us, 40 something like that, 47.
Yeah.
So I think we've made a marked improvement since then. The defense is honestly probably the only thing that's keeping these games close.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think he had some bumps and bruises there to start the season. But I don't know. I think it's maybe starting to come around a little bit.
Yeah, the past two games they played very well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought. Really, they only gave up 17 points against San Diego State because Evan Svoboda gifted them 10.
6, yep.
So, and they had, I think San Diego State only had 1 or 2 sustained drives in the entire game.
Yeah, and I think I was looking at it earlier, but I think we've given up like a couple of special teams touchdowns. We've given up a couple of pick sixes. We've given up a fumble that got returned. So I mean, we've given up a lot of non-defensive touchdowns this year already.
Yeah. So there we go. I like this. How about we're paying right now? Yeah, I like it. We're paying $1.1 million per win so far.
Pretty good.
Oh, boy. Okay, so we got to do a grade, huh? Is the grade an F or D? I mean, I have D, but I don't know. What?
D seems like being nice. If we gave the quarterback a D-, the coaches have to be an F.
Okay, I'm down with it. Coaching F. I think probably everybody's on board. We'll check the stream here. They are. I see it lighting up. All right, F. There we go. Chat. Bull is the best head coach of the three. Maybe.
More than a good chance.
Oh, F minus. I think F is good. Yeah, a lot of head scratching things. And I should have wrote this down. A lot of things, right? It's just mind boggling the number of things. Multiple Fs. Oh. I like it. Double F. Quadruple F. To make it be known. So, and here's the last thing I'll say. This is what I want to say. You mentioned it in your very first intro, but the problems that he kept saying, hey, we know this is a problem and we'll get it fixed in game 1 are a problem in game 6. So how many times can you say, I know? And he did. He said it this week. There's things we got to fix and we're going to get them fixed. Okay.
If people would just play better, it'd be a lot easier.
Win. In 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you'll get it fixed. Fix it now.
Well, the schedule does allow for a little bit of time to kind of get right, as it were. I mean, we got a tough game this week, but then we got a couple of easier games. I don't even want to say easy games, but they're easier, with New Mexico and Utah State on the schedule.
Yeah.
So
winnable games, perhaps.
That's what we'll classify them as.
Perhaps.
Winnable. Perhaps winnable. But after that, the schedule gets a little full tilt boogie on us. So,
yep.
If they don't figure it out in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then we are in some serious. We're in for some serious beatings here. To end the season, which would probably not be good for, if you're worried about people hitting the transfer portal. The last 3-4 weeks of the season are going to be a problem.
Yeah. No, that's a good analogy too, Clint. But I think if you've listened the past couple of weeks, my analogy is he's the substitute teacher. He came in. Everybody likes the substitute teacher. He's cool. He's hip, but he's not going to do anything. Right?
We must have had completely different substitute teachers.
Oh, you didn't have any cool ones? All ours were cool.
No.
Oh, yeah.
We did have one guy tell us the quickest way to cut your wrists, though. That was pretty good.
Oh, jeez, Louise.
He was an EMT, so he knew how to catch it if somebody did it.
If you really want to commit suicide, kids, here's where you should cut.
Very weird guy.
Yeah, I would say so. Okay, I know you actually did research on San Jose State because you thought we might talk about them, and I don't want that research to go to waste. So the floor is yours.
Well, I did very little research on San Jose State. I'll put it like this. But,
what's the line? Do you know the line? Or I'll look it up while you talk.
Yeah, I don't have the line off the top of my head.
All right, I'll go get it. I haven't seen it. I'll get it. You talk.
But, just kind of a punctuation, I guess, to this whole coaching thing. There are currently, and you'll love this, there are currently 22 quarterbacks with more passing yards than we have total yards of offense. That seems bad.
That's not good.
With one pretty good game, Ashton Janty could probably catch us in rushing yards. Like his rushing yards will catch our total yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's at 1248 rushing right now, and we're at 1551, I think, for total yards on the season. Something around that. So,
oh goodness, I just seen the line. The line's -11 for San Jose State.
Oh boy.
Oof.
Yeah, they're averaging 33.5 points a game. So
yeah, let me look.
Hopefully I'm looking right at it. It's 3.
Okay, yeah. There's no way if they hit their average or even half their average.
Yeah,
we're in trouble.
Yep. I don't know if we can score 33 points. Maybe we can. I don't know. But I know that they've got a receiver that is really, really, really good. That will probably be very problematic for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's like one of the leaders in the country. Yeah, he's second in the country in yards a game at 134. So he's a particularly talented young fella.
Mm-hmm.
And he leads the country in touchdowns too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Fun.
Nick Nash.
All right.
Luckily, he's a senior, so he won't be a part of our new fun conference.
There we go. Luke's got his stats. 62, 806, and 10.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah. Good Lord. That's like, I think if we added up all our wide receivers,
For the last time,
don't even touch that. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Actually, how many passing yards do we have? Hold on.
How many passing yards do we have?
898. So basically, yeah. So this wide receiver is more productive or just as productive as our entire team.
Yes.
Wow. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Thank you, Luke. Good research there.
Yeah, that's gonna be bad for us.
Clint's going to have some encounters with some turkeys tomorrow. We'll have fun.
Well, that sounds fun. I mean, I can just walk out my front door and find turkeys to have an interaction with.
Yeah.
Kind of assholes, though. And I don't know if you noticed this or not, but San Jose's quarterback is named Emmett Brown.
Okay.
Isn't that the name of the guy from Back to the Future?
I do believe so.
Yeah. So hopefully he's got some cool hair at least. But yeah, he only clocks in at 28th in the country in passing yards at 1551. So skilled passer.
All right. Yeah. And we know Wyoming does not play well on the road. So.
No. Even if they only have half a stadium to put people in.
That's true. They got that weird stadium, where they only have stands on one side of the field.
Yeah. And it's weird that they have the camera like pointing towards like the empty side.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
I've always wondered that too.
It's a bad look. But then the little Spartan would be upside down on the camera, so I don't know. I did see, so yeah, what is a 2 o'clock kickoff Mountain Time? It's on the Mountain West Network.
Yep.
And our color analyst for the game is David Fales.
Oh, interesting.
Former San Jose State quarterback.
Well, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem we'll have an unbiased.
He will be very biased.
I know, yeah. It's like we're not going to have an unbiased broadcast even to listen to.
I know. And it's on the Mountain West Network, so who knows what we're going to get, honestly.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But yeah.
Well, that was a lot of fun, huh?
Yeah. Well, in case you're wondering, too, Ken Nuamatalolo is the coach at San Jose State.
Correct.
After Brett Brennan bailed for where in the hell he went, I don't know.
Arizona, I think, right?
Was it Arizona? Yeah, it was. I saw him the other night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Part of that mad dash of coaches around the Pac-12 or the West Coast.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, this was a long one, but I think enjoyable. Talking about the issues, breaking it all down. I don't know. My brain's fried now.
Probably didn't have far to go.
Yeah. But yeah, we appreciate all of you out there joining us on X and on YouTube. The replay will be posted here soon. So if you missed anything, you can check it out. And then, I'll be back for a post game for San Jose State. Yeah, Bruiser, a topic for another time. We're not going to talk about that quite yet. We're pretty negative, but not that negative.
Oh, boy.
So
it's wading into murky waters.
Yep. But yeah, I'll be back on Saturday, I guess late afternoon, probably early evening for the post-game show. I don't know. Are you around, Brad? Where the Grizz up to this weekend?
The Grizz are on a bye.
Okay, well, you could be around.
I could be around.
All right. So we'll see. We'll have a post-game show, and hopefully we'll see some adjustments, right? Hopefully after 6 weeks or 7, really, because we've had a bye, we're going to get things fixed. Hopefully we actually try to fix something.
And hopefully they just play better. Just play better, Chad.
Just make plays. Play better.
Play better.
Thanks, Bruiser. And thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll catch you on Saturday.